What's up, my good peoples? Welcome to the Be Transformed podcast, where we're talking about ideas that stimulate wholesome thinking onto identity, purpose, vision, and action. I am James Anderson, and with me is Logan Eaton and Kyle Enteman, my good bros. Eat any good pork rinds lately?
What's crack-a-lackling, James?
Crackling, that's what it's called.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's what it's called.
That's
Oh, wow.
because I don't think you ever finished your thought on that one last week.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
That's it.
So why don't you explain to the viewers what we were just talking about?
Yeah, crackling. So,
You had a neighbor, right?
neighbor butchered his hog,
Hmm.
and I think it was the leftover. So all the parts he didn't use, there's a way to like process that.
Toes, knees,
Pretty much. The nipples and everything.
Okay.
the little tail in the back.
You just don't think about it when you're eating it. but
don't
it,
think
like you
about where it came
fried
from.
them some way or cooked them some way, salted them, and they're just really hard pieces of they almost taste like bacon.
Right.
Just really hard pieces of crackling.
Right. So it's
That's what it's
They're
called.
called
really
crackling, yeah.
hard
It is called that.
pieces.
and
They
the-
can,
Crack.
Yeah.
they're really different.
Okay.
But they taste like bacon.
Mm.
So you had some crackling yesterday.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
said it's kind of an acquired taste.
it is. A
It's
lot of
not
people.
just something you're gonna.
It's not something you just eat every day or
Dive
like a
into.
cracker or something.
Yeah.
It's
It's not like a kipper.
Kind of an
No.
acquired taste. Yeah.
It's not like anchovies from a can. A little more particular.
yeah. If you think about it while you're eating it, you won't
No.
eat it.
Yeah.
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 I've used
So
mine.
you just pop it in while you're thinking about something else.
It's kind of like what's that? Like the meat they sell at
Tofu.
at the delis. Head cheese. You ever had that before? You heard of it?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Sounds
It's kind of like a
gross.
mixture of all the parts and things like that. Of
In
the
a,
animal.
in a cheese.
In a kind of a bologna type of
Oh yeah.
setting.
Okay.
Yeah.
kind of like there's like chunks of
Mhm.
different stuff suspended in kind of like a jelly-ish.
gelatinous type stuff.
Mm.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
We call those hot dogs where I'm from.
They're like hot. Yeah. Well,
But
when
it comes in like the potato salad kind of container.
And what do you do with it though?
I don't know.
Just
I
spread
don't
it
know
on-
what
some
you do
people
with it.
love
Spread it on
man.
bread.
I think
Yeah.
it's like a paperweight, but
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know. I think the older folks
some people
love
use it for
That's how they stay so healthy.
male pattern baldness.
I think it makes you go bald.
Oh,
Could be.
science! You
old-
learn science every day.
Good old gelatinous.
That's
Suspended.
hilarious.
So you had the
Head cheese.
crackling and you're still here, huh? Logan?
He
Okay.
literally went over to his barn. He had a big tub of it just sitting there, a big
Just-
pot of it.
Ah.
Just popped some in. was like a
big
day
pot of
old.
oil or something.
No, it was just like a big tub. Like he had
almost like a-
taken it out. He just let it sit overnight, and we just went down there and
Let it dried
popped
out a
few
little
in.
bit.
Yeah, he let it dry out. Transferred it from wherever he was cooking it at,
Okay.
and just popped a few cracklings.
Yeah, kind of
some
talk about
jokes.
life and talk
Yeah.
some cracklings.
Yeah.
Are these like a one bite wonders or you got to
One-
take?
No, you don't stay for a second one. You pretty much just take one.
You
It's just-
want
you
to
don't
say
stay
thank
for
you
it.
and
It's
you
a
leave real
delicacy.
quick.
Yeah,
It's one of those
treat it like a
ones-
delicacy where you just take one.
Yeah.
Be polite, but really, you really
never
don't want
touch it
another
again.
one.
You don't want another one. No. It's kind of like broccoli.
I
mean,
guess
if
so,
you had,
yeah.
as
Sure.
a kid, if you didn't like broccoli, yeah.
Sure.
Not all kids like broccoli.
Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
that was a good example, but it
You
was
can hear all that.
it was nothing like that, huh?
You can hear all that.
Mm. I'll do this then.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Stop it!
But yeah, I don't think it was like broccoli, but
It was crackling.
Like
it's
peas.
crackling.
It's crackling.
Yeah.
It's crackling.
What's crackling with you guys?
What's crackling with you?
Well, I ate a raw hot dog yesterday.
No, you didn't.
No, I'm just joking.
You ate a whole bag of raw
Yeah.
hot dogs.
Yeah.
How was it?
Ah, it's delicious.
Delicious.
Yeah.
With like mustard,
Nothing.
relish.
Yeah, straight out of the ballpark.
Just a package. The
Yeah.
ballpark package.
Yeah.
Nice. That's gross.
No,
Oh,
man. Sometimes you don't have time to microwave those things.
Did you put it on a bun or something? Or you just took it to go.
I just smacked on it while driving.
Huh.
You ever like pull up to someone on the side of the road and they see someone eating a raw hot dog? It's a real good way to freak them out. Like, look at them and be like, yeah.
You want some?
Then you smoke a cigarette too while you do it.
So you have hot dog in one hand,
Hell
a
yeah.
cigarette in the other.
You could
Yeah.
cook it with a cigarette, but yeah.
Yeah, they love it.
Wow. The cigarette gives it a smoky flavor.
Real healthy.
Wow. You got like Led Zeppelin blaring in the radio.
I got that Here I Go Again on my own. Riding down the only highway.
With a hot dog and uncooked
With a
hot dog in one
I will
hand
learn to eat alone.
and a cigarette in the other.
Mm.
This is all while riding on the motorcycle.
Yeah. Oh, I took that out last week.
Did you?
Yeah.
How was it? Did you dust her off?
She ran pretty good.
Damn.
You had to warm her up for a little bit. To all the viewers, got a little motorcycle, you know.
A little motorbikey.
You know.
Little
Right.
scooter.
Logan tried to ride on the back of it a couple times, but I told him only room for one.
There's only room for
One-
one.
one.
Here
cool,
I
bro.
go again on my own.
Vroom vroom. Yeah, it was well warmed up. It was good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Took her around town. Actually went through went down through Maumee a little bit on Conant Street.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little scary.
Yeah, there's
scary.
A lot of traffic down there.
I was like, cool. I had like a sweatshirt on my helmet, but when you get around a bunch of cars, you realize how small you really are.
Yeah.
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 What's top speed on that thing? On that
Really?
hog?
Like 50, 55?
Oh, man.
Comfortable? That go
How'd you
more
get-
than that. Starts.
How did you get up there? Did you have your bike in Toledo or did you have it back in BG?
I had it at my mom's in Waterville.
Oh, so you didn't have to take the highway or anything.
No.
Oh, okay.
But you know the main drag in Maumee, right?
The Main Street, yeah.
Conant or Reynolds or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go through.
Yeah.
Rush hour?
Gosh,
I
that
think it was like
terrible.
12 o'clock on Saturday.
Mm.
It's about rush hour.
Yeah. 12 p.m.
Mm.
Damn.
Yeah,
Afternoon.
that thing seems pretty packed during rush hour during the week. That street.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You get stuck in there.
People want to get their...
But you can just go on the
Tacos.
sidewalk. You can just.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Put a siren on top of your helmet.
They had to
That'd be
think I was
awesome.
pretty cool, though, you know,
Hmm?
Yeah.
seeing the guy.
With your hair flowing out of your helmet.
Yeah, just to the
So-
sides a little bit. Yeah. Like one strand was just like that.
In your face.
Yeah.
When you crash.
Wow.
You full head helmet? Full face? No. Oh, my
Just
gosh.
just the half face.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Mm.
Dude, you brought your vision book. Did you have a quote to share?
No, just in case I was
Ah.
going to reference something because I always forget.
Did you not
What
want to
I read.
reference anything? You didn't come prepared to reference something.
I just got prepared if I had to reference.
Oh, my gosh.
Cool.
Yeah.
I got
Did
that
you bring
book.
any books?
No, I didn't. Nope. Not tonight. I didn't bring any of my
Wow.
books.
Jeez.
Laying
Some
on
of
my
us just like
nightstand
to
at home.
Some of us just like to be on time and prepared
Mm.
for whatever.
Right. It's a good book, though.
It is a good book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of vehicles,
You got one?
my motorcycle.
Oh, the motorcycle.
How's the old 8.6 run out there?
86.
What's that car called?
I don't know. That one that backed up in their bumper that one time? the Cavalier?
Camaro, yeah.
The
Oh, yeah,
Cavalier?
the Cavalier. Still runs good?
Yeah.
No clutch problems?
No.
Hmm.
Not since it fell out.
No.
Yeah, not since you just took it off. Don't
Yeah.
even use the
Duct
clutch
tape's still
anymore.
holding the
Bam.
Cadillac converter together. I got it wrapped around the exhaust pipe, too. So
Oh, good. You duct tape.
Yeah, we just would get hot and melt fuse right on there.
Yeah.
Gets
Use duct
crispy
tape for everything.
Yeah, it's like a
Get your
like a
shifter
rope.
duct taped into third all the time.
Yeah, definitely.
Right when you start up, you're just moving.
Absolutely. Just moving.
That's why you can't park anywhere near anything.
Just slides,
Instant motion when you
slides
start.
right into them, Logan.
Into the
Wow.
peoples.
Into the peeps.
Wow.
What'd you get into today?
What did I get into today? I got into a lot of BT stuff.
Nice.
Just gonna wash a house, but it's a little chilly out there.
Yeah, it didn't get as warm as they said it was
Nah.
gonna be.
The old soap doesn't work as good in the old chili frijoles. But yeah. So I was working on some BT mayhem. Some vision and purpose statements kind of stuff. Started having some recent some clarity as of late, which has been quite lovely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Clarity is always good.
Yes.
It's nice to have some clarity.
It is nice to have some clarity. Absolutely.
It's like not driving around at night with your lights off. You ever
Yeah,
done
that's
that?
a good way to put it. You could see little things in front of you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You ever try that?
What's that? Driving without lights
Mm-hmm.
at night?
Mm-hmm.
Just
Just
one
for
time.
a few seconds. Yeah.
I closed my
Just-
eyes too.
Just until you realize.
Like, ah! Yeah.
But I was just in my driveway
Oh, okay.
in park.
Not even moving. Just
Just
imagining
imagining it. Yeah. It's cool, man.
Oh, yeah.
Real cool.
That's real.
That's real cool, bro.
That's great, Clark. That's real great.
There's a lot of vehicle talk going on.
Yeah. Kyle's trying to get us going.
No. We can take time. Yeah, no problem. Did you bring any books, Logan?
Yeah, I did.
Cool. I love Nancy Drew.
Yeah. Today, tonight, till tomorrow, we're talking about vehicles.
Vehicles.
Wow.
And how
Totally missed all that.
Yeah.
vehicles. Yeah, it's because you like to be on time.
It's too early.
Too early.
Sorry, guys.
This guy, I don't know. We love you anyways, despite all your flaws.
Perfect.
Perfectly imperfect.
Despite your
Perfectly imperfect.
despite your hundreds of mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Of which we keep track of. Just kidding. It's a big book. We had to stop keeping
Yeah.
track.
It's a lot.
The computer system
Yeah,
melted.
we had to buy
We
more
big-
cloud
big
space.
big database for you.
Big data. Big data.
Big data. But yeah, we're talking about vehicles and how vehicles give you access to the roads of potential.
I like that road's potential.
Yeah. So a vehicle really, though, it's a tool, right? And it's only as good as you use it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the driver. Is that what you meant?
What?
The driver. It's only as good as the driver?
Well, it's only as good as you use it.
Mm.
In the sense that, like, so for example, right, you could buy the car of your dreams, man. This thing's like a legit vehicle of your dreams. Paint color, wheels, this thing's slick, it's clean, it's like inside's just decked out with everything you could ever want and more, right? And let's just say it's parked in your driveway, and so you sit on the front porch, and you stare at this car, man, this car of your dreams that you now have, and you sit there and you just all these thoughts you just stimulate your mind, right? And you just start picturing yourself in the future. You picture yourself driving this thing down the road, going on adventures, taking long trips, experiencing just like these epic experiences, right? So you're sitting on the porch, and just like you kind of come out of your daydream, you realize you're hungry, you go inside, eat some food, sit down, watch some TV, get tired, go to bed. Then the next day you get up, go about your day, you think about that car again, you go back out on the porch for a little bit, sit there, look at it, dream about it, and then just keep going about your day. But it's like that the vehicle's only as practical, it's only as beneficial to the degree that you actually use it. Like, it's full of potential. But the problem with the front porch is that it's not the driver's seat. It's once you get in the car and you go down the road, like, that's where you start tapping into potential. That's where you start experiencing life, is when you actually start taking action. And the reality is that the gifts that God has given us, the gifts, the talents, the abilities, and our interests are vehicles that we have that give us access to certain kinds of people. Like, we got these ideas about using these different kind of gifts, but sometimes, man, it's just across the board, it's easy to sit on the front porch and dream about the experiences you have. You could dream about, all the things you could do and the people you could interact with and the influence you could have. But there's only so far that front porch is going to get you, right? There's a time where your thoughts and your dreams need to turn into realities. What do you guys think about that?
Whoa. What color is this car again?
Whatever color it's your car.
Oh, it's
the
my
car of your dreams.
Yeah.
El Camino.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I think before, the bee, we started, chit-chatting, be transformed. I didn't really think about gifts, the word gifts. Like, I always, thought about, okay, go to school and, learn how to do stuff. And, even in school, I was never really a big fan of school. I got by, but, when we start talking about gifts, it kind of puts things in more perspective and helps me to focus and hone in on what specific ones I have and how I can use that to fulfill my purpose. But it's kind of cool because I think maybe some people don't really think about their gifts. Maybe they're really good at singing or something, but they're like, oh, whatever. It's just singing. I don't need to, yeah. And they kind of brush it off. But I think sometimes we need, it's nice to know that and then be able to continue to grow in that gift. Sure. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Thinking about the gifts as vehicles to get to where you want to go next.
Yeah.
Logan?
Got any references?
No, you don't have to.
Let me read this real quick. Yeah. I don't know. I guess just to be honest, the first thing that just blew into my head was just thinking how easy it is just to think about stuff. It's easy just to sit there and think about this would be great to start. This would be easy to start. I just need whatever, and just kind of sitting there thinking about the car or whatever, just thinking about it, thinking how it's easy. But then once you decide to get in the car and drive, there's things you didn't even know that you needed to do, or I don't know, it just takes action. You can't just get in the car and just sit.
Sure.
You have to turn the key, you have to shift it, or at least put it in drive, and then you have to steer it, and you have to hit the gas, you have to brake, and all that stuff. So I just think I don't know. That's just what popped into my head. It's easy to sit and think about driving it and how easy it, it's just going to be easy just driving to all these great places, kind of almost like in a daydream. But then I guess what hypothetically what a person would miss would be thinking about the things that they've got to do to make the car move to where they want to go, the gas they're going to need to put in, the maintenance they might need to do, or just turning the key, shifting, like I said, hitting the gas pedal and the brakes and stuff, just the basic stuff. So it's just, I don't know, it's just almost like it's what's a daydream, what's reality. And I think when you're pursuing vision, it's important to recognize what's a daydream and what's a real. Not saying daydreaming is bad, but there's a point when you have to when your daydream has to meet reality and just kind of mesh and stuff like that. That's just what popped into my head.
Yeah. So you're talking about like the actual details. So there's a difference between like thinking, okay, I'm gonna start this business and I'm gonna generate $1 million in sales, but you have no marketing plan and you don't know the first thing about marketing, right? So like an idea like this kind of what Logan's talking about is that you could go into something without thinking about all the nitty gritties that go into it and how, right?
Yeah, because you're thinking, you're thinking all I gotta do is just get in the seat.
Sure, right.
And we're gonna go crazy places, but there's just a lot of stuff that, and not to put like a negative thing to it, but it's just like, there's a reality of there's a difference between a daydream and your vision. I think, I guess that's what I was trying to say. So like your vision's gonna involve a lot of stuff, a lot of I don't know, planning and taking action. While daydream is basically just you're seeing all the quick high points of whatever, all I need is this, and then people want this, so all I need is this, and then I've got a successful business, or I've got I don't know, thinking about even about like college or something, like all I got to do is apply and then show up, and then I've got my degree.
Right, and then you didn't realize you were going to have a massive sized debt
and classes to go to, tests to take, homework to do, all that stuff. That's what pops into my head.
Yeah, but I mean, but even in the dreaming, man, I mean, you can come up with some ideas. You can come up with you can come up with the plan. But it's just like then there is the reality. Well, one is like, okay, you have the daydream. Well, then what would it look like to actually accomplish it? And that's where you start getting into the nitty gritties of the details. And then you picture what that would look like and whatever. But then there comes a time where once you have your idea, once you fleshed out the plan, then you weigh the cost. Do you want to get into it? And then yes or no, and you come in and get into it. And then there is stuff that you straight up cannot figure out except by taking action. Like there's stuff to figure out in the beginning, but you're never going to be able to like smash out every single detail. It's like that stuff's only realized in process and in motion. So there is the reality of thinking realistically in the sense of like, what are the different details? But then you also don't need to sit around and wait till you have all the details, because sometimes it's impossible to to get it. But
that reminded me of this one time. That just reminded me of a story. There was when I was trying to learn how to drive a semi truck for the first time. And the guy told me, he's like, you don't need to know all the details about it. He's like, just get in and drive it like you're stealing it off the lot. Like don't worry about maybe if the gears grind a little bit or whatever. Just shift and keep pressing the gas. Like drive like you stole it almost. So not worrying about the details. I like that, just because I can get caught up in the details so many times. Like I've got to shift perfectly,
right,
or I'm not doing this right, and then it gets into your head like, oh, maybe I shouldn't even be doing this.
Sure.
Yeah. Did you drive it all right?
Yeah, eventually.
Wow. Yeah.
But it was
cool.
It was a process. But yeah, the more I thought about just driving it like I didn't care about it, and wasn't even mine, I'm just stealing it, the better actually the better it was.
That's funny.
So putting the action into things.
What?
So putting the action into things.
Yeah. Well, just kind of recognizing that these ideas can be the very things that are for you to actually get into. Like you have these vehicles that are ripe and ready, but it's kind of like the parable of the talents, right? Where the one guy buries his money under the dirt, and so he has the money, then he gives it back to the master, right? But the goal was to increase that money, was to realize the potential of that money. But you can't realize what you don't use.
Yeah. Going back to the gifts you're talking about.
Yeah, just like these vehicles, these talents, these things that really they give us access though to these roads. And so it's important to understand that different vehicles are meant for different kinds of roads, right? Like not every vehicle is made for every single kind of road. And you think about Jesus, right? In Mark chapter 2, he's talking about people where the Pharisees were freaking out because he was eating with some tax collectors and sinners, and they're like, why is he eating with them? And Jesus says, dude, it's not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. He's like, I didn't come, right, to chase after the people who think they're righteous. I came for the people who knew and know that they're sinners, right? These are the people that I came for. So he came for a certain kind of people, right? He came with purpose, with vision, and with gifts to, get into it. And so when you kind of start discovering these vehicles that you have, it kind of helps you decide what paths to take, right? What are the right roads? Because you think about, right? Like, so I have a van and I just bought a bike, right? So my mountain bike is perfect for like a single track in the woods going down a mountain. Like that bike is the jam for that, right? If I try to take my van on that same road, my van has epic potential, right? It's got the capabilities to do all sorts of things. But if you try to take it down a single track trail in the woods, the potential is going to get snuffed out pretty quick as soon as you get smashed in between two trees and can't get out, right? Yeah. So I mean, that vehicle is not practical. Now, at the same point, right, I got a family of 6. If I wanted to go to Lake Michigan and I try to load up this family on my mountain bike, right, that junk ain't happening. Not going to make it. I try, but I'm not going to make it. Maybe I get some back pegs, front pegs.
Right.
One of those like trailers. I mean, maybe, but then I couldn't move. So, but I got this van, right? This van has more than one seat. It's got an engine. It's got a room for luggage. It's built for the long haul. It's got a freaking engine. You don't got a pedal like the Flintstones. So having the right vehicle on the right road is real important. But it's possible to kind of discover your vehicle and then find yourself on the wrong road. Right, because potential is realized in the right kind of environments, right? So if you think about an apple seed, these apple seeds, so let's just say you went to the store, you go to the outside department, and hanging on a rack is like an envelope full of apple seeds. Well, in that environment, those seeds will never realize their potential. Even though they're full of potential in that environment, hanging on the store shelf in that envelope, they will never become what they're created to become because they're not in the right environment. But you buy those seeds, you take them out of the envelope, you put them in the dirt, you give them water, you give them sun, and bam, they'll become everything they were created to be because they're in the right environment. Well, our gifts are the same way. Like there's potential that we have that is realized in the right kind of environments, right? I mean, if you're called to be a leader of men, but you live a secluded life, you're never going to be able to realize the potential of leading and managing people, right? Because you're not around people. So there's that gift and that ability and that desire and interest that will never be realized if it doesn't have the right environment to get into it. So it's possible to find yourself on the wrong road with your vehicle. Now, that doesn't mean that the road that you're on is a bad road, right? It just becomes a bad road to continue to travel if it's not the right road. So, yeah. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Does that do anything for you guys?
Well, I mean, yeah, kind of. So you're saying, so we have these gifts, these vehicles, and there's multiple roads we can be on, and it's, well, I don't want to say best, but when we align our gifts up with that road, we travel the best. But you're saying that it's not necessary to be on, like,
Every road.
It's not necessary to be on that perfect road. Like, there can be roads that lead into that perfect road.
So what I'm saying, so as this relates to me, like just in terms of like be transformed in our vision and where we're going, like for me, like where we've been typically finding the people that we are connecting with has been at church, but it's kind of ceased to be a place for finding people, and so I'm finding myself with this desire to somehow engage in the community and engage in business and engage with people outside, right? Kind of like Jesus, Jesus was talking about, it's like, dude, I didn't come for the people who are, righteous. I came for the sinners, right? There's a certain people I'm looking to actually engage and so anyway, so I'm in this road that has been the right road, but then finding that it's like, you know what, I think it's time to travel a different road. Like there's another road, because right now I feel like, it's like you get these senses like you're bursting at the seams with potential, but that junk just isn't being realized. It's like, I've got all this stuff. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know where to point it. I don't know where to go, but it's like, you got it. But where you are right now is no longer the place to be. Like, that's not where you're going to realize in it, And so it's just, for me, it's been this bit of a struggle, but just this working out of like, all right, what is be transformed? What do we do? And who are our people? And kind of discovering this concept of this vehicle, which really was spurred on from when I bought my bike and the conversation with that guy at the bike shop and whatnot. I was just sitting at the table and I just started getting these ideas about the bike and how it was a vehicle and how that bike gives me access to certain kind of people. Like I could use that bike, which takes me on some trails. I could find a group of people who also like to ride bikes on trails, right? So I could join a group. That group, because we have the same interest, it would give me access to these people who are already meeting up, right? Because the big question is like, how do I get into the community? How do I start participating in society where people are? How do I get in where people are? Because I've been disconnected. So it's like, how do you get in there? Well, like these vehicles, right? You think about our gifts and these interests that we have. You like doing yoga. Well, yoga is getting you into a group of people who also like yoga. Well, so that group of people, that interest gives you opportunities to create relationships. Those relationships give you opportunities to display the true nature and character of who God is. Then it's like it gives you a chance to bring people into your community, into your life, or at the very least just to make friends and be able to demonstrate like the legit reality of who God is. But it's because you have this interest and you participate with other people who have that same interest. And it's like these are the things that give us access to what we actually want. It gives us access to our mission. Yeah, what do you think?
Well, I was just thinking, so if you have some apprehension or fears or doubts on what road or whatever, like, are there a couple basic steps that people might be able to, or things that they can do to kind of align themselves or to better refocus where they're at?
Well,
so that makes sense.
Yeah, so I mean, like last week we were talking about the fact that we're made for earth, right? Sure. Like when you become born again, you become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven, and at the same time you become commissioned as an ambassador, somebody who is of the kingdom of heaven and represents the kingdom of heaven on earth. And so, with looking at this verse in Mark where Jesus is like, man, for God came for a specific kind of people, right? And it's just like, each of us has specific kind of gifts. We have specific kind of interests, right? Are these interests give us access to certain kind of people that we can relate to and communicate with because of our common interests, right? I mean, you like Jim Croce. There's a crowd of people who like Jim Croce, right? That's not my speed, but like for you, that gives you access to a group of people that you can relate with and interact with and create relationships. Logan likes farming, right? So that gives him an access to a certain kind of people who will gather around these activities of farming, right? It's like, because the big question for me is like, okay, I've got this message, but nobody's attracted to the message, right? There's some people more in the Christian community who are attracted to the message. But I'm finding it's like the trick is that we get into something that that other people actually want to get into, that enjoy getting into. You bring some of that, and then you use that to share demonstrate your message, and then people are like, freak, give me some more of that. But you need something that's going to attract people that gives you the ability to demonstrate. Sure. And it's like, that's what these gifts do. That's what these interests do, you know? So it's like, so one of the daily cultivations this week, because all these were on daily cultivation, but one of them was like, you know, what vehicles do you have lying around? You know, I mean, like, do you like sewing? You know, and do you find yourself kind of like, all right, how do I get involved? How do I find a group of people? All right, well, is there a group that meets once a week, twice a week, you know, or like every other week or once a month or something, and they get together to have a little sewing party, right? I mean, that desire to sew gives you access to a group of people who have the same kind of interests. So it's easy to relate. Yeah. And so you just show up and you do what you know how to do and what you enjoy doing. And then you just build these relationships. And like, they give you access to then demonstrate the kingdom. It's like, do you like painting? I mean, could you bring a couple young kids from a school, or could you approach a school and be like, hey, you know, I've got this idea. We could come out after school or during lunch or something. We could do a little crafting, whatever, you know, like, and you could connect with some kids. Like, these gifts that you have, you could practically use in the world to solve actual problems. You know, it's like, do you like fixing things or repairing things? Like, whatever it is, like, what do you like to do? Mm-hmm. Like, what could you do? You know, I mean, freak, video games. There's people who get together and do video games. I mean, it's just like, you can use whatever it is, your interests, your gifts, you know, to actually engage with the world. Yeah, so I mean, for example, like, what would that look like? So let's just say, right, we've got whatever. We could just pick... who cares? Let's just say we found a group, right? We got an interest. We found a group who's doing it, and we go and we show up, right? So straight out the gate, you know, we meet a couple peoples, and there's just like this one person that we kind of connect with, right? So every time the group shows up, we sit next to each other, we talk, laugh, joke, talk about nothing, talk about whatever, you know? But then one day this person's like, dude, I've been like struggling because like there's this incident with this one person, and it's been bothering me, and I'm kind of like, it's kind of like, you know, they're just getting like angry, kind of bitter about this situation. All right, well, bam. You slap down a little bit of kingdom concepts, right? You're like, oh man, freaking bitterness, right? Like, bitterness seems like a good idea. Like, being mad at a person who hurt you, like, it seems like it makes sense. Like, it feels like that is what you should do. You should be mad at that person, right? You should not want to talk to him. Like, you know, it's like, it seems like that's what you should do. But like, the reality is that forgiveness, also known as like letting it go, is like your only access to freedom, right? Because bitterness is like drinking deadly poison, but thinking the other person is going to die, right? So let's just say that person laughs. You're like, oh man, I never thought about it like that. And you're like, yeah, man, it's like, sometimes in bitterness, right, you have this past experience, and then you keep reliving it. You keep reminding yourself of it, right? You feel the same feelings. You think the same thoughts. You build these scenarios in your mind, right? And all that does is reinforce that memory. But it's like, that memory is not worth taking to your future, right? So it's like, being able to cut that off, forgive them, and let that go really sets you free to go and live the life that you actually want to freaking live, right? So bam, just like a bunch of masters, we just slapped down some kingdom concepts without like being crazy, right? Like, without being like, dude, bitterness is going to send you to hell. You know what I mean? Like, you just literally demonstrated the kingdom of heaven. Like, you caused somebody to consider function over malfunction, right? It causes people to taste and see that God is actually good. All because you showed up to a group where a bunch of people had the same interests as you. You created relationships, and it gave you access to demonstrate the kingdom of heaven, right? Then it's like, as you keep building the relationship, you can bring them into your life. You can bring them into your groups, you know. It's just like, at that point, once people start tasting who God is, you kind of want more. And it's like, that's kind of the process we're going for. What do you guys think about that? No thoughts? This is a thoughtless podcast.
What do you think, Logan?
Let me get them.
Doesn't make you want to join
organized.
Farmers Only or something?
Yeah.
What's that?
Farmers only.
Is that a
Apparently
blog?
we're farmers are
Blog
only.
for only farmers.
Lonely farmers, yeah.
Only
Yeah.
farm talk.
Yeah, well, definitely getting in with the people, where the people are, James. I like what you said, using, like, you know, I like music, so going where the people like music. And then if you do have, you know, Croce fans, or you're just playing music, right, and it's something you enjoy, and people catch on to that, like, oh, yeah, I love Jim Croce. Like, that's weird that you, like,
Yeah.
weird that, and you might be, like, someone who, like, has the interest in the same vision or ideas that you have, and that's how I think you form those connections with people, by doing what you know, naturally are enjoy doing, and you do it quite well, and then just doing it and talking with other people about it and forming those connections.
Yeah.
Because I think we can get lost in the idea that we don't need to, or, you know, don't involve other people, and I think that sometimes can shut down that creative energy that can build those bigger purposes and visions.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Just like, if you're gonna do, like, you know, if you like grilled cheese, and you're, you know, selling grilled cheese on the side of the street, and then someone says, wow, that's a good idea, and you might run into someone who, you know, owns vans. They might say, well, how about we do a grilled cheese van? Call it Little Cheesers. I'm just saying the possibilities are endless. But
With
first,
little cheesers, the possibilities
you
are
gotta
endless.
you gotta first set up the shop outside.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's scary sometimes.
Sure.
It's a little
Interesting.
nerve-wracking, you know? You got to step into some fear to do it. You got to step into, you know, the whole idea of, oh, no, what are people going to think? Or, you know, I got to talk to people now and all that. And, you know, that's what you got to do sometimes.
Yeah, but that's where it's like if we can better understand why we are freaking on this earth, you can better look at yourself in a correct light.
Yeah.
Right? Because when you realize that Jesus said, you guys are the light of the world. He said, so let your light so shine before men that they see your good deeds. And because of that, they glorify your Father in heaven. He says, go into all the world and make disciples of all nations. Right? It's like our task is here. It's on earth, and we're equipped to do it. It's like these dreams that we like, you know, if you find yourself in the, you know, like in the beginning where we're talking about you're sitting on the front porch thinking about your vehicles, you're thinking about like your gifts, you're thinking about your talents, like whatever it looks like. You're playing music, you're speaking, you're farming, you're whatever it is, like you've got these dreams. Well, see, the good news about the fact that you've been daydreaming means you have some ideas.
Sure.
Which means like you're already ready to like pick one and go for it. And so, yeah, it's understanding that what God has for us, like you are equipped to do. And like they're the things you actually want to get into. They're the things that speak to the potential that's inside of you, which is a part of you, which is a part of the fiber of your being. So every part of you like wants to get into what you're created to get into. You know, so it's like there's a process of like preparing for the journey, and you know, I just came up with this girl. I think her name was Tina, and let's just say Tina, right? She got a gym membership. She goes to the gym. She enjoys working out. And this one day she was working out. She saw these two young ladies working out, and then just all of a sudden it just started stimulating some daydreaming, right? She's picturing herself training these girls. She's training one girl, and then all of a sudden the girl just starts opening up, and starts like sharing some struggles she has, And so she's dreaming about this, man. She's thinking about what the girl's saying. She's thinking about what she says, and she just finds like this fire rises up, because this is a constant dream she has of like impacting these young ladies, man, to help them see themselves the way God sees them. Like she just has this desire to connect with these girls, and she's got this idea pops in her mind of like, personal training would give me access to these people, right? So she kind of comes out of this daydream and just starts breaking down the details like we were talking about. It's like, all right, well, if I was going to be a personal trainer, that would cost money. You got to get certified. But it's like, what if this was the way that got me into, that gave me access to these girls, and in this environment of fitness, she's like, man, it'd be easy to just create some wholesome conversation that would produce fruit. She's like, that would just be so natural, so normal, right? So she just starts thinking, she's like, like, I wonder if I should do this. I wonder if this dream that I'm dreaming is the same dream that God's dreaming for me and for these girls. Is that she's, God's just waiting for somebody to freaking get up and do something to connect with these people. Right? So she's just like, man, what if this is the strategy to the mission that is in my heart, right? Because God does not give you a mission without a strategy. And what if she's thinking, this is the very strategy, this idea is the very thing that I should actually follow through on that would give me access to my dreams. Right? So she starts breaking it down. She's like, all right, if I was going to become a personal trainer, it's like $500. You got to get certified. Then you got to get, it's $250 a year for insurance. She's like, I want to get a little bit of a logo and some clothes with that logo on it. That's another $250. So bam, we got $1,000 in this dream right here. You get some of the details. You start flashing it out, right? You weigh the cost, right? Because freaking whatever you do in life, you trade your life to do it. You give your time, your money, your energy, your focus to whatever you do in life, which is great because that's a part of it. Man, you give your whole self, but you just want to make sure that what you're doing is worthy of your time, right? And so she's like, man, this is totally worth it, right? It's okay to get financially invested in your dream, in your destiny, in your purpose. It is okay to financially commit to your purpose and vision in God and to freaking go for it. Right? And it's like, and it's at this point, man, that you don't freaking cheap out. You don't cheap out. You're not looking for the cheapest way in, right? Cheap means you're just going to end up buying it again. We're not going crazy where it's like you buy crap that you're never going to use just because whatever. But you buy nice. You buy quality and you buy what you actually need. But just freaking these vehicles that give us access to people, man, every single one of us has. And so for Be Transformed, like this is part of our mission, is that we help people discover identity, purpose, vision unto action, right? And so we participate in the world. So our mission is to understand who we are and then to get into the world. So this is our model right here, is that we figure out what is it that we like to do and we start doing it. We've been coming up with like various ideas, right? It's like, all right, how can we connect with the community? Well, I was like, I know this guy who's connected in the schools. I said, shoot, I got this idea to work with kids. What if I approached him and said, hey, what do you think about this idea? Bam. You've got this idea that you could impact some kids. So you go to where the kids are and see if you can do your thing, right? You get these ideas and then you just start following through on them. But here's the thing, right? Like we were talking about, like each one of us, the more people we get into this, the more facets, the more roads that each of us get into, because I follow a certain kind of road, certain kind of people. Somebody else, we got to get into fitness, get into business kind of stuff. Well, somebody else is going to get into some music, get into some whatever. You got some crafting, you got some of this, you got some farming, you got some of this and that. What happens? We have like an entire society worth of people, right? Because every single one of us has different gifts and abilities. So we can reach different kinds of people. So now we're affecting a whole society because look, my good peoples, the whole purpose is to make disciples of entire freaking nations, which the only way you're going to do that is by starting with one person and then spreading out to a community, to a state, a city, state, freaking country, whatever. The only way you're going to expand is by getting into it. But it's like, man, we have the ability. This is the strategy to our mission. And this is helping us pick the right roads. Because when you kind of discover what it is that your gifts and who are the people that also like those gifts, you just determined your target market. You just determined the people that you're after. Like things just got clear. So now it's easier to take steps of action because you know what you want to do and the kind of people that like to do what you like to do. I mean, it just got simple. Now it just do it. Show up, invest in it. It's going to cost some money. Do it. It's going to cost some time. Do it. What else are you going to do? You could keep sitting on the porch. And I'm just saying this from freaking experience. It's like, it's easy and it's frustrating at the same time to sit on the porch because you're packed full of potential and you don't know what to do with it. And it gets confusing, but a lot of times it gets confusing because we discard the things that we're actually supposed to get into, which is really easy to do. But it's like once you kind of start getting some clarity, freaking stick with it and then take some action. Yeah, you could be like, well, what if it doesn't work out? What if it doesn't last that long? Or what if I spend that money, it doesn't work? Well, at least you freaking did something. Do something. But what if it didn't though? Like, what if that idea was the idea that got you into your vision? What if it is what it got you into your purpose? What if, because you took action, everything in your life changed? Would you do it?
Yeah.
Get up off the porch, my good peoples.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally.
I'm getting off the porch anyways. You guys can stay here.
No, I'm going to get off the porch, do something.
Yeah. But it just makes it so simple and so clear when it's like, oh. Because before, my big question was like, how do you get involved with these people? And it's like, right there, man. What do you like to do? Oh, there's people who like to do that. Go find some people. Because it's possible to participate in these things, but then not really have the mission behind it. Right, of actually like because my mission is to display the true nature and character of who God is. Like that's why I want to get into this, because by getting into this, it's going to allow me to build relationships, which is going to allow me to demonstrate who God is. It's from there then that some people are going to want to come and get trained in our training. They're going to want to learn like what is it to live this life in God, and then they're going to be deployed into. Because we help people discover identity, purpose, and vision unto action. So then we help deploy people into the different areas of influence so that we can actually affect change in the world. I mean, this is the model, and this model is going to work. It makes things clear and simple. So it's just like, what are the vehicles that you have? What are the ideas that you're thinking about while listening to this? Like, what is it that you want to get into? And just start getting into it.
Mm-hmm.
Drive that baby.
Let's do it.
Totally. Okay. My good peoples, thanks for hanging. Until next time, keep it real. Peace.